final performer this evening, Regina Bradley. Regina Bradley is a storyteller from Albany, Georgia, where it's never colder than a polar bear's toenails. Founder of Outkasted Conversations, Andre 3000 jumped her in the Starbucks line once. Am I the only person in Atlanta who's not met Andre 3000? Without any further ado, Regina Bradley and B.O.B.
Count it off.
Ready?
Yeah.
Had to make sure you guys were with me. All right.
Yeah.
Are you guys with me? Yeah! All right, let's do this shit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, in slum, national, underground, thunderpound when I stomp the ground. Like a million elephants or silverback orangutans, you can't stop a train. Who wants some? Don't come unprepared, I'll be there. But when I leave there, better be a household name. Weatherman telling us it ain't gon' rain. So now we sitting in a drop top soaking wet. In a silk suit, trying not to sweat. Hit somersaults without the net. But this be the year that we won't forget. 1999, and Albany, anything goes. Be what you wanna be as long as you know consequences. Or give it for living the fences. Too high to jump in jail. Too low to dig, I might just touch hell. Get a life, now they on sale. Then I might cast you a spell. Look what came in a man. Scale of some arm and hammer. So go thrill with a baby mama. Black Cadillac with a pack of Pampers. Stack of questions with no answer. Kill for cancer, kill for AIDS. Make a man wanna stay on tour for days. Get back home, things are wrong. Not really they were bad all along. But we left ass up to evolve the power. Thoughts at 1,000 miles per hour. Hello ghetto, let your brain breathe. Believe there's so much more. Ha! Don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. Don't even bang unless you plan to hit something. Don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. Don't even bang unless you plan to hit something. Come on, everyone.
So some of y'all already know my introduction to Outkast. I heard you cheer for me and shit. Thank you so much. So I got Bob's with Baghdad. I feel like that's the hype shit. So I want to end with the bang. No pun intended. So I have two different stories, two different snapshots. But the first time that I was really feeling bombs over Baghdad was in high school lunch. I'm not quite sure if any of you went to high school lunch in Georgia, especially like South Georgia, but you don't understand this is like the race above all races. Think like Hunger Games on a million, especially if you were like in third lunch. Because that means that you didn't have shit left that was hot. You had the crusty ass chicken fingers. You might have had a little bit of lumpy blue cheese ranch something or another. And then, depending on what day it was, if it was Wednesday, that was Papa John's Pizza Wednesday. So then you try to con the lunch lady into giving you the last pieces of pizza for $1.25 for just like 6 or 7 pieces because they're trying to get rid of it. But this was the song that people sang as they were running down the hallway hauling ass. Think like greyhounds, hungry ass greyhounds going downstairs singing, Bombs Over Baghdad, especially like the little jump off with the count, right? Like the 1, 2, like you just get ready, like you just get ready to just jump out in the chair and go. But there was 2 particular lines that stand out for me in the song. I'm going to give you 2 different little really, really quick stories. So first one is Act 1. Don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. This is important. This is important shit. Listen, okay. So, sex in high school was awkward, okay? Especially those last 2 years when it was that really weird, kinky, sexual electricity. I got a thing. Do you want to see it or not? Hunching ain't the business no more. So what's up? Type of tension. At my school, the 3rd floor bathroom was proof that you don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. So this is especially true because during one quite sunny spring afternoon, you know what it is about springtime and all that good stuff, me and 3 other classrooms full of teachers and students heard one girl's loud testimony testimony that, yeah, you don't just pull it out unless you play in the band. After that, teachers who taught on that floor had the door open at all times and were on guard for the whole day because, you know, they want to make sure that nobody else went to church. Sex was everywhere. I loved talking about sex when I was a junior in high school. I loved talking about sex about everybody like I already knew what the fuck I was talking about, but I didn't. Because, as my husband will tell you, I lived in a living, breathing, full-size chastity belt. There were bars on all the windows. There was always somebody at home, so there was no opportunity to, you know, bang. There was just, and I was also in the boonies, the Boondock Collage, Albany, Georgia, so that just made it, you know, if you really wanted to come see me, it was special. I had to do something, right? So, you know, it was exciting. You know, sex was exciting, right? It was exciting because, you know, I wasn't supposed to be doing it, let alone know what sex was. I was one of those, you know, good, clean girls, right? I went to church every Sunday, most times because I had to go to church every Sunday. But there was just some things I was not supposed to know about. I was curious, and I wanted to, you know, whisper with friends. You know, you couldn't speak too loud about these things because you had reputations to uphold. You had to whisper with friends about who I thought was a heathen, who wasn't, what I thought what I would do, who I thought I would do it with. But in reality, I was horrified. And the reason I was horrified is because of my grandmother. I call her Nana Boo. She's my everything. But the one way that I could stop from not being in my grandmother's good graces was, you know, there's this thing that's called hunching. Hunching was big. This is my lifesaver. Y'all don't understand where I'm coming from. It was my one last card. Does anybody play spades? Nobody plays spades? Okay. So it was my big joker. Okay? I couldn't give you all the books. I can give you a little sum. Right? So that was my big joker in two people's spades. So this idea of hunching, right? No bombs would be dropped over my Baghdad. It was a no-fly zone. But with hunching, at least with hunching, you could get behind enemy lines. Hunching saved me from sitting in the permanent sinner's pew of my church and also my grandmother's room. She sensed that I was hormonally antsy, and she would shoot side-eye anytime I would walk past her, especially after I would haul ass past her after school to get to the solace of my room to talk about the people who, you know, didn't just hunch. They gave the full Boston on their spades. So, you know, I was just horrified by anything she would say. She was just so certain that I was doing things, unladylike things that I wasn't supposed to do. So she would often have this conversation with me. This conversation, okay? How was your day at school? It was good, it was good. Are you having sex? No, ma'am. Are you sure you're not having sex? No, I'm not having sex. You come home and you go straight to your room and take a nap. Why is that a big deal? I have AP classes. I'm just doing what you told me to do, getting honor roll and shit like that. You know, not knowing that if you take a nap, supposedly that's the first sign that you're pregnant. But she said it so serious. I didn't know. I was offended that I couldn't take a nap in my own goddamn house. Why is taking a nap a big deal? I would ask her. Don't suss your mother, my grandfather would say in the back. Don't become fast, girl, she chided, and I would nod, yes, ma'am, because, you know, I would love to see the opportunity to play spades, two spades. So this would be continuous things. This would go on and on and on. And then one day, she just finally was like, come sit by Nana. Yes, ma'am. You smell different. I'm sorry? You smell different. When you start having sex, you smell different. Are you having sex? Do you want to smell like sex all the time? I can't make this shit up. I'm telling you the truth. No, ma'am, not having sex. You know you become addicted to sex after the first time. slowly back out of the room. Yes, ma'am, I say. I holler at my room and sniff myself for further evidence because I'm pretty sure this is not what I'm doing. So my growing fear of sex stank, it wasn't even sex, it was sex stank, was the foundation for my unbotheredness of crunchy jeans after dates. So I didn't mind the clumsy fingers, I didn't mind the awkward pose, I didn't even mind the, the dude and it's just, I don't mind any of that. Because as long as I didn't have the stank on me, I was good. I could live to see another day and actually continue to live my life. Hunching was my way out. That was Act 1. Okay. So, Act 2 was, I love the line, Power Music, Electric Revival. For the longest, I swore that they were saying Bible music, Electric Revival, especially if you've seen the videos, got the whole gospel choir, and they're doing the whole clap and hallelujah and all that good stuff, and I'm like, this just fits. So this part was actually about one of my really good friends. His name is Jason. No, not this Jason. I just met this Jason. Jason was my dude. No one knew about hip-hop and Outkast more than Jay. He never tried to holler at nobody. He always had this goofy smile and his acne-prone face, slightly slouched over in his too tight dad jeans. How the hell you wear dad jeans in high school and get away with it? But we took Spanish together, and it was like Spanish 4, because I was actually somewhat good at Spanish and shit. So we would be sitting there, and during this time period, this is when Stankonia first came out, and his favorite act on the entire Stankonia's album was Kim and Cookie. I never knew why until a little bit later, but he always said that he wanted to play, Kim. I was like, okay. So we would be in class, trying to take notes, and trying to be, scholarly and shit, and he would be poking me in the back of my back with his finger, trying to get me to do the skit with him. So, it would be rain, rain. I keep writing in my notebook, and he's like talking really loud, and the teacher is giving us both side eye, and I just don't feel like doing attention for that man, because I like him, but I don't like him like that. Rain, rain. So we poked his finger deeper into the opening between my shoulder blades. Say hello, Cookie. I snort. Hello. Girl, I got some titty. Spill it, girl, spill it. And then we would do the skit on and on and on, and the teacher was looking at us like, one time she just told us to do it in Espanol, so one day we just decided we was gonna be like, fuck it, we gonna do it in Espanol. El ring. Dice hola, Cookie. Hola. Teacher didn't like us after that. She realized that she didn't like that. But what I didn't realize was that I was giving him something that deeply resonated with him. It was really deep shit that he was trying to tell me, because as I would learn, he was always at war with his mom. His dad never stood up for him. His dad never did shit to help him out. So when we would get out of Spanish class, which was the last day or the last period of the day, he would sigh and the steps would be heavier than usual. Some days I would drop him off at different places in Albany just so he can get a ride home. School was a way for him to really think about how I can get away from this, and he would ultimately tell me later that he was gay, and that him playing with the skits was a way for him to just take a second to really just enjoy himself and be who he is. He never really explained to me, unfortunately, he was murdered because he was homosexual, but I always think about him whenever I listen to Kim and Cookie, both the Spanish version and the English version, because that was an opportunity for me to realize how just having a little bit of fun with Outkast was actually a life-changing kind of salve possibility for him. And unfortunately, I'll never know how deep those wounds really went, but when I think about hunching and I think about Kim and Cookie, it really helps me understand why I love Outkast. Thank you.
Now it's beginning to look a lot like wood. Follow my every step. Take notes on how I crept. I'm about to go in depth. This is the way I creep my season. Here's my ghetto rep. I kept, to say the least, no, I can't cease.